This is Brandon Jones with the University of Cincinnati and Northwestern University. In this lecture, we're going to take a look at broadcast receivers, but specifically, we're going to see how broadcast receivers can help us achieve the Android design principles of enchant me, simplify my life, and make me amazing. So, an example of a broadcast receiver is something that can receive a notification of an event that occurs with the phone or on the phone. For example, if you get in your car, a lot of times if you have Bluetooth on your car, it will recognize that your phone is Bluetooth enabled, and it will automatically turn on music when you get in the car, or when you shut off the car, your phone will stop playing the music. Similarly, a lot of times you plug in headphones and the phone realizes that and will play music on the headphones. And as soon as you disconnect the headphones, it turns off the music playing device. So these are all ways we can simplify our lives, enchant me, make me amazing, the three quality guidelines or the design guidelines of Android. Here's an example that I can speak about directly. In the very first version of Plant Places Mobile, this is the GPS of Plant screen, and I knew very well that it was too complicated, but I didn't know how to clean it up. There are too many buttons, too many things for the user to do. One thing is, when you GPS a plant, you have to select a plant and then say where that plant is. Well, that's redundant because we already have the latitude and longitude. We should be able to match up where the plant is on the server side. And so I took off the site box down here so that that's no longer required. Another thing that is a bit redundant or a bit confusing is that we have a button called Save to Phone and a button called Upload. Save to Phone is to make it obvious that you're saving to that device, not actually saving to the cloud or anything like that. Upload indicates, well, I want to upload it to plantplaces.com. The trick is there's a lot of button clutter here and it's too wordy. As a matter of fact, if we look at the Android design principles, one of the things they say is to keep it simple, keep it brief. Use short phrases, short descriptions, have a good economy of words. So save to phone is a bit excessive. Okay, so what does it look like now? This is the current screen on version 8, which is the current version of Plant Places Mobile on the Play Store. And you see, it still has a lot of buttons, but it's been simplified significantly. Save to Phone is now Save, and there is no Upload button. Show Save and Take Photo, those still exist. I could probably do away with Show Saved because it's also available on the menu now. And on the menu, it's actually called something different. And then Take Photo, I could probably replace that with just a picture of a camera. But nonetheless, you see that the UI is significantly cleaned up. Okay, so how do we do it? Well, upload, making the user go into the app to press upload is complicating the user's life because we should try to make a suggestion. We should do that automatically. Okay. Now, one of the other Android quality guidelines that we have is decide for me, but let me have the final say. So what we want to do is instead of requiring the user to press the upload button, we want to automatically upload unless the user opts out. So let's see how that works. I go to the menu and I choose Preferences. And we see one of the preferences on the screen is going to be an automatic upload preference. Okay, auto sync over Wi-Fi. And note that auto sync over Wi-Fi and upload plant images, those are both important. Okay, why important? Well, first of all, if we are Plant Places Mobile, what is the best time to upload? We could be dealing with a lot of data because we're looking at uploading photos. So we don't want to eat into the user's data plan on the user's phone service. Similarly, it could require some energy, some processing energy, given the matter of uploading this data. So we want to do it while the device is plugged in and charging. These are two states that are easy to deal with using broadcast receivers. What we can do, and what I'll demonstrate for you here, is that we can create a broadcast receiver that will listen for these two things, and when they are both true, we are going to upload images. So I'm going to go into the Plant Places example app. This isn't the live app, but this is one that we are using as an example. By the way, I get questions on my YouTube channel a lot about is this publicly available, and it certainly is. It's available on my GitHub, which is DiscoSpiff 14SS Plant Places. I'll also link that to the video when I'm finished. So, first of all, what I need to do is I need to right-click on the appropriate package, and I'm going to choose New, and I'm going to choose Class. And for class, I'm going to say synchronize broadcast receiver. Or, I could even just call it synchronized receiver, something like that. Now, here's the important part. We have to extend from broadcast receiver. So I choose Superclass Browse, and I choose Broadcast Receiver. I just type in Broadcast Receiver, like so, and select it from the list. Choose OK, and then finally choose Finish. This gives me a class with a method called onReceive. I'm going to hold Control and press M so I can look at this in high def. The onReceive method will get invoked when one of these lifecycle events occurs within the Android operating system. What's nice is that I'm going to get a context, and the context is what tells me about the Android system. It's about my application in particular. It's going to tell me what private directories it has access to and the like. This is something we get automatically when we have an activity. So in a broadcast receiver, we have this as well. That will give us the capability to do toasts and things like that. Next, we're going to get an intent, and the intent is what triggered this onReceive method to be called. So at this point, what I need to do is tell the Android manifest what I want to listen for. So I'm going to Control-Shift-R and say Android manifest, and select the one for this project. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Application, and I need to register this new broadcast receiver. So I'm going to say Add, and I'm going to say Receiver, and I'll choose OK. And it's kind of hard to see here, but I'm going to choose Browse, and I'm going to say Synchronize Broadcast Receiver, and I'm going to choose OK. So I've added my receiver, and now I can go back to my synchronized broadcast receiver, choose Add, and then say Intent Filter. And the intent filter is going to say these are the events that I want to listen to. So I choose Add again, and I'm going to say Action, and I choose OK. And for Action, I select from the name here. I want to look for a few. I want to look for Action Power Connected and Action Power Disconnected. So I might have to do a little search here, Android Intent.action Power Connected. Okay, that's one, and I'll choose Save. I'll go up to the intent filter, add another action, okay, and Android.intent.power disconnected. So this is Android.intent.action.power disconnected. So this is going to tell me when we're plugged in charging and then when we're no longer charging. Save that. I'll add a few more, and these are going to tell me whether or not I am connected to Wi-Fi. So I'm going to look for Android.net.Wi-Fi state changed. Okay. Let's see. We'll do Wi-Fi state change, and then we'll add a few more. We'll say state change. Okay, action. Now, you probably think, gosh, I'm a little more comfortable with the XML editor. If you are, that's great, and I'll show you what that looks like under the covers in just a moment. So Android.net.state change. And finally, one more, we're going to look for connectivity change. So action, okay, Android.net.connectivity change, and save. And you can see this list here. We can select one of many different kinds of events from this list. So Bluetooth, a lot of other things like that. So you kind of have to think of your purpose, why you would want to use this. Okay, let's look at what it did to the manifest under the covers. And what it did is it created this synchronized broadcast receiver. And it gave it this intent filter, which means when any of these events occur, it's going to invoke that broadcast receiver. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to choose Save. Now I go to my synchronized broadcast receiver, and the specific intent that was called is going to be passed in, as we see here in the onReceive method. So what I can do is I can ask the intent what it represents. Okay, I can say if intent.getAction dot equals, okay, and then we'll say capital I intent, use a constant here, dot action power connected. Okay, then we're going to say plugged in equals true. Okay, we get a red line on plugged in because that's not yet defined, but that's okay. Okay, let's let Eclipse do some work for us. I hold Control, press 1, and I'm going to say create field, which as you see up here is going to make a new Boolean called plugged in. Choose enter to select that default proposal. Okay, and now I'm going to say else if intent.getAction dot equals, okay, and we'll say intent dot action underscore power disconnected. Okay, then we're going to flip that switch the other way and say plugged in equals false. Okay, so now we know whether we're plugged in charging or not. Okay, next thing we want to look at is Wi-Fi availability. So for this, I need to get something called Connectivity Manager. Okay, Connectivity Manager tells us if we are on Wi-Fi or not. Okay, I'm going to say context. Remember who that is? That tells us who our application is up here. Context.getSystemService, and I'm going to pass it a name, context.connectivityService. Okay, this is going to return a value to us, and we want to store that value in a field. So I hold Control, press 1, and I say assign to new local variable. Object is too high level. We need something more specific. We need something called a connectivity manager, and I'm going to name it connectivity manager, and I hit enter. As soon as I do this, it's going to complain again because it doesn't know who connectivity manager is. Once again, let's let Eclipse do some work. I'm going to Control Shift O, and it's going to automatically import that connectivity manager as we see up here. Now it's going to complain one more time because I'm getting back an object from this method call, which is the highest level superclass we can have, but I'm storing that in a variable of type connectivity manager. The variable of type connectivity manager is a subclass, so it has more methods available to it than the supertype object. The bottom line is this. As I will often do when I have a red line, I'm going to stop and fix the red line, but I'm going to see if Eclipse can help me. I hold Control and I press 1 and I say Add Cast, and sure enough, that's exactly what I want. And that takes care of my red line situation. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Connectivity Manager dot get active network info. Okay. Once again, this is a method that returns a value. I want to save that value, so I'm going to hold Control and press 1 and say assign to new local variable. Network info, active network info, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so we're going to say, are we connected? Okay. Now what I can do is put this into an if test and toggle another Boolean. Toggle another Boolean. Toggle another Boolean to tell us if we are on Wi-Fi or not. So if we're on Wi-Fi, we're not going to be, there's less chance that we are going to be costing the user part of his or her data plan. So for images, for example, when I use this app and I actually go out and GPS plants, I can easily GPS 200 plants plus images in one day. And my old phone, the images would be maybe 1 to 2 megabytes each. My new phone, oftentimes they're over 6 megabytes. So that's quite a lot of data, and that's why we want to try to upload this over Wi-Fi. So I say if active network info, control space, let Eclipse do some work for me, is not null, and active network info dot get type equal connectivity manager type Wi-Fi. You see there's several other options we have here: mobile, Ethernet, dummy, Bluetooth, so on and so forth. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to say Wi-Fi is true. It doesn't know what Wi-Fi is though, is it? Because we haven't declared that variable. So I'm going to control 1 and I'm going to say create field Wi-Fi. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say else if the active network is not Wi-Fi, then we're going to assume that we're connected on the user's data plan. Assume we're connected on the user's data plan. And I'll put a note up here. Whoops, sorry, went too far. Assume we're connected on Wi-Fi. Okay. Now this isn't precise, but it gives us a good idea whether we're on Wi-Fi or not. So I'm going to say Wi-Fi equals false. Okay, and now it's time to make some event-based decisions. Okay, we're going to do two things. If we are plugged in and Wi-Fi, then we are going to upload. Okay. Now on the same note, so that's uploading any kind of data that we have. On the same note, we also want to synchronize data back down, like new plant names and things like that. That's just going to be some raw text data. It's not going to be intensive image data. So for that, we're just going to see if we're on Wi-Fi. We're not going to bother with the plugged in because this is less likely to consume energy. So in other words, on the live app, when I go to select plant, what it's going to do is it has an option to go against local data when I do a search or against network data. So if I say here red bud, okay, and you see it auto-completes. So we have like hearts of gold, red bud. Okay, that's coming from local data. We want to synchronize that local data. And you see that's literally just the text you're looking at here. It's not images and things like that. So that's less intense on power consumption. So for that, I'm just going to say if Wi-Fi, and then we're going to say download. Okay, and there we go. These methods aren't yet defined, so control 1, create method upload, and control 1, create method download will define those. In previous lectures, we have talked about how to parse JSON data, so I don't want to repeat that all here. I want to keep this lecture focused on broadcast receivers. But nonetheless, you get the idea. If we're plugged in and we're Wi-Fi, upload the plant data and the plant images. If we're Wi-Fi, then we're going to synchronize. Our data. Okay, so this project that I'm doing this in is our this is our demonstration project. It's not the live Plant Places application. That being said, I did put this in the live Plant Places application. So that is on, one moment please, that's on the Play Store, on the Google Play Store. And one of the things that I did, and that is available for free as well, the Plant Places software is free on the Play Store. So if we go to play.google.com and then Plant Places, you can see this live and in action. There we go. So yeah, this is version 8, and that has that automatic synchronize. I tried this out recently when I was in Reykjavik and Iceland. And so I went out to Reykjavik Botanical Garden, which was a fairly good walk from where I was at the time. I came back to my hotel, plugged in my phone, charged it, and also connected it to the hotel's Wi-Fi. And sure enough, all of these points that I had taken in the Reykjavik Botanical Garden uploaded, along with many of the times when I had taken pictures of plants, the pictures uploaded well. So that was nice because I didn't have to remember to upload it. And, as long as I have the Plant Places app running, which we do have to have it running, but as long as I have it running, it will listen for this plug-in charging, and it will listen for the Wi-Fi, and then it will automatically sync. So it's nice that I don't have to remember to do that. And of course, it's also nice that I have a much less cluttered screen now than I did the old way, where I made the user actually go out and press the upload button. So, simplify, enchant, amaze. We want to reduce wordiness, take away the to phone and just make it a save button. We want to uncomplicate the user's life by doing things automatically. And then on the same note, we want to do things automatically by suggestion, but we also want to give the user the final say. And so you see on the preferences page, the user has the opportunity to auto sync over Wi-Fi or not, and the user also has the opportunity to upload plant images or not. So I hope this discussion on broadcast receivers has been beneficial. Again, I will post the GitHub link on this video. Please definitely subscribe, and also definitely add a comment if you have any questions. I watch the comments pretty closely, and we'll be happy to answer anything else. Also, if you have any suggestions on maybe how I could have done this better, I'd love to hear those. And if so, perhaps even I'll record a new version of this. So thanks for your attention, and we'll see you on the next video.